What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Aaron Nix, and this is the WrestlePlug YouTube channel. Sorry it's a little bit late. I've been very busy, but I have got a Raw 30th anniversary review on tap, so let's do it to it. Raw is 30 years old, so who better to roll out than a big fat leathery racist? Hulk Hogan comes down and says, brother, 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 might break, brother, 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 Jack dude, while Jimmy Hart just stands there looking ageless. A wonder of modern science is Jimmy Hart. Yeah, crowd didn't give a shit either. They were booing. They were booing because his mic didn't work. They were booing because he's racist. They were booing because he's a leathery basketball skin prick. Enough about that. The show starts properly with the tribal chief, the big dog Roman Reigns, and he's got everyone in tow because it is the core of Sami Zayn. And this is where Paul Heyman goes full fucking mega heel and starts presenting evidence as to why Sami Zayn should essentially be euthanized. Pretty fucking astonishing. The promo here, he was spitting true hatred. I genuinely believed that he hated Sami Zayn's guts. He wanted him to die. I was like, fucking hell, mate, easy now. But this whole segment was a masterpiece from start to finish. If you're wondering why people keep coming back to WWE and how places like AEW, no matter whatever good stuff they do, it always gets kind of forgotten or lost, it's because of moments like this. Because this is not only huge star power with world-class entertainment. You know, you're talking about 2 or 3 guys here, maybe 4 or 5 actually, when it's all said and told, who can genuinely emote and draw emotional responses from people like no other. Sami Zayn has easily been, for many people, the most entertaining part of the year in all of wrestling. There's only really MJF who stands out as somebody who's moved the needle as much as he has in terms of entertainment. This segment was beautiful. Roman Reigns, his facial expressions, his anger, when Sami basically says, yo, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not going to defend myself because I'm sick and tired of having to prove who I am, essentially. And then Roman essentially saying, yo, that's it, execute him. Get Solo to his day work. And then the moment that you just never expected, it's Jey Uso who stops Solo Sikoa from giving him the spike. And he's the one who presents the evidence to suggest, actually, you know what? Sami, for all the things that have happened between us, you saw past all that and you still tried to help me. So this is my moment to pay you back. It's so beautifully done. This is masterful television. This goes beyond wrestling. This is world-class acting, great television, great presentation. I mean, we're like, what, 3-4 weeks into the year? And these guys have already delivered arguably a segment of the year. Like, you'd be surprised, to be honest, if anything beats this for the rest of the year. It was absolutely astonishing and an absolutely fire segment to start off Raw. And Roman says, you know what? One final test then. I don't want to see you until the Royal Rumble. However, Sami Zayn and Jey Uso not done in terms of storytelling. Because right after this, it's Judgment Day versus the Usos for the Raw Tag Team titles. Jimmy gets injured during the match. Hoping it's kayfabe, they did it really well. The X was thrown up and everyone was like, oh, you know, it was a big audible, like, oh shit, from the crowd. They got me. I genuinely thought, oh fuck. Because I love the Usos. I think they're the best tag team in the world. And then all of a sudden, you know, the storyline comes through and Sami's like, I can fucking take his place. Why should they have to forfeit the titles? Because it's only for the Raw Tag titles as well. And that got me thinking, maybe they are going to actually have a change. By the way, this match was world class. It was world class with Jimmy in it, and it was world class when Sami took over. This was a fucking incredible match. Easily match of the night for me as well. Best wrestling match. Phenomenal. Utterly phenomenal. Fair play. Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest especially, putting a hell of a shift here. Everyone was great on the outside. Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley were phenomenal on the outside. Sami Uso, obviously, or Sami Zayn, however you want to look at it. Even I'm buying into it. You know, he was great on the outside, great in the ring as well. And it's ultimately Sami Zayn and Jey Uso who pick up the win. Essentially thanks to Sami Zayn, who gets the pinfall as well. And it's that moment where he embraces him and they both hold up the belts and he gives the belts back because he just still, you know, it's so good. How can you not like this? If you didn't like this, you're an idiot. The only downside is the segment did overrun, which cost other segments in the show a little bit of time. LA Knight comes down to basically trash talk and talk about how he's going to beat the shit out of Bray Wyatt, hide their pitch black match. I've got to be honest, I don't think it's working. However, this segment definitely worked. For one reason, the American badass, The Undertaker, comes back. Terrible graphics, by the way. The fucking state of those things just looks so tacky, so cheap, like something you have on a fucking dishcloth. Didn't take away from the fact that he came motoring out, so to speak. It took him a long time, but we'll give him a pass because he's the Undertaker. He's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. And he is getting on a bit, bless him. So the fact he can still ride a motorcycle quite happily, good for him, man. He comes down on his motorcycle. LA Knight goes, do you know what? I'll give you the night off. Probably a good choice. Then Bray Wyatt comes out, forces him back in the ring. Undertaker looks like he's going to chokeslam him, offers him up, and it's kind of a passing of the torch moment. It's almost like saying, I used to be the big dark entity, the really kind of psychological cornerstone of this company, and now it's up to you. Even though, you know, you've dropped the ball twice because of bad booking, ultimately, it's not always your fault. But this was really cool, and he kind of whispers something to Bray Wyatt, which hopefully we will never hear. That's what makes it so good, the mystery of it all. But it was like a passing torch moment, you know, Sister Abigail, boom. They look at each other, and it's kind of like, jobs are good, and baby. Rides off into the sunset once again. Fist goes up, and everyone's thinking, one more match? And I'm thinking, no. No, 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 no. You're too old. It's cool for these moments. Roll him out once a year to have a little bit of fun. Maybe chokeslam someone. No more wrestling. No more matches. No. Bad Undertaker. Bad Undertaker. Bad Raw. Do not put this. Do not put this. But the segment was great. Good feels. And how can you not like it? It's Bray Wyatt and Undertaker in the ring. Come on. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, the first segment that overran with Roman Reigns and the court and the trial and all this sort of stuff. And that's where it impacted this match the most, the steel cage match, the women's steel cage match, which essentially didn't happen because of this. That's apparently what they're reporting. Fightful apparently found out this from sources that they basically said, do you know what? You can either go out there and have a really short match, or we can do a twist or a turn or something and do the match later down the line. To be honest, probably a good match to put on at the Royal Rumble. A steel cage match between these two, a grudge match. So why not just save it for the pay-per-view? So yeah, the cage comes down. Becky Lynch comes out. She gets jumped by everyone involved in Damage Control, and they do a number on her. And they leave her laying. Fine. Absolutely fine. Real shame, though. Doesn't speak well to the product that here's your 30th anniversary. Another chance to stamp your approval. Talk about women's wrestling, and you basically lost the biggest part of it, which was the women's steel cage match with, by the way, one of your biggest stars, Becky Lynch. I would have still been annoyed, but I would have understood more if it was maybe two lesser stars. But the fact that Becky Lynch is one of your biggest draws, whether you like her or not, and I'm not a big fan personally, but she is a big draw, she is a big star, and you somehow, you know, I'm surprised they didn't bump something else for that. Maybe it's because of the legends and the amount of people they were using, probably the amount of money they paid people to be on this show, but bottom line is, it got shit canned, but they did what they could with the segment, and Damage Control looked pretty shit hot, leaving Becky Lynch laying, so if nothing else, it makes them look quite strong as the nasty heels. It's now time for the how much fucking shit can we get into one segment, one portion of the show event. This was utterly insane. So DX comes out with Kurt Angle in tow, kind of hiding behind him randomly. They go to do their shtick, and then they're like, Kurt, what are you doing here? And he's like, hello. Just looks completely lost, absolutely lost. They're then interrupted by Imperium, who come down and essentially say, get out of the ring, because we're bigger than you and we're better than you, which they're right. And I was terrified of, oh God, here we go. The legends are all going to gang up and beat them up and make them look like idiots, just like they did with so many past wrestlers. And thankfully, DX was smart in this segment, and they all sold it well. Like, yeah, no, I'm too old. I liked it. I thought it was really funny, especially Triple H. There's that wonderful little moment where he squares up with Volta, and everyone's like, oh yeah, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. Triple H goes, no, I'm retired, mate. I'm all right. Please don't kick my ass, you gigantic Austrian bastard. Brilliant. And then they're all like, yeah, no, none of us want to do it, so what the fuck are we going to do? Seth Rollins comes down, and then they're like, oh, we need a tag team. The Street Profits come down, and they're like, oh, now we need somebody to make sense of all this. And you knew, because I'd seen him on a poster, you just knew Teddy Long was coming. Tag team match, holla holla player. It never fails. It's nostalgia. It's stupid nostalgia, but it works. It sets up a 6-man tag, which of course Seth Rollins picks up the win by giving Giovanni Da Vinci the curb stomp. Good match, protected Volta, which was good, aka Gunter. Sorry, I just can't help but call him Volta because I'm used to him from the Indies, but either way, he got protected in this, which is good. Imperium don't look too weak losing. I love Ludwig Kaiser. He's still one of my favourite things. I just love how obnoxious and up his own arse he is. With his nose up in the air. He's so good at it. He's so good. I love Imperium as well. But yeah, this was just a feel-good moment. And also Kurt Angle being a special guest referee. fucking clueless the whole time. The wrestlers were just working around him and he's like standing there. He shoves Volta a little bit, which was, you know, whatever. Okay, cool. I just thought Kurt Angle just looked utterly pointless. Funny though, he's really starting to get on, bless him as well. So, but hey, you're not going to see him regularly, so you can kind of put up with it. It was fun, and there was loads of people around, and people doing sockets, and loads of little tributes to different moves. And man, the Street Profits are so good and so underrated. Oh, by the way, Jerry Lawler on commentary as well. Seriously, it was like, get it all in there, like stuffing a Christmas turkey violently. That's what it was. But it was fun. It was fun overall. Less Jerry Lawler though. I realised why I don't miss Jerry Lawler at all. That's because when you do hear him, you think, God, this guy. So once a year, that's okay. Anything more than that, no thank you. Time for the one women's segment that did actually get the allotted time, and even that didn't feel that long either. Charlotte Flair is introduced by her legendary father, Ric Flair. Why the fuck not? Then Bianca Belair comes down and is like, oh, look, two shiny champions. She's like, you don't go here anymore. This is my place. And Charlotte's like, oh, yeah, but I'm so good at wrestling too. Or both champions. Oh, my God, that's so cool. Then Sonya Deville interrupts him and says, where's all my love and respect? I was GM of this show for a year. Yeah, and when you were, it was fucking shit, love. So sort your stuff out and stop whinging. And you know what? They have a match. Not Charlotte Flair. Her and Bianca Belair. She's like, oh, seeing as it's your house, I'll let you have a go. And I think the idea was to try and make Charlotte look like more of a face. Like, do you know what? This is your territory. You handle your business. But it just came across as a bit snide, to be honest. Charlotte Flair's just naturally really good at being a heel. Don't get me wrong. Megastar. Incredible. But much prefer as a heel. Don't really believe her that much as a face. Can see her turning pretty quickly. Bianca Belair dispatches Sonya Deville. Whoop-de-doo. We still don't care about Sonya Deville as a number one contender or a serious challenger. I don't understand why they're pushing that, especially when there's so many other women who've got so much potential, like Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan. It's what it is, but, you know, whatever. And then Alexa Bliss appears on the screen and says, I'm going to kick your ass and I'm going to rip your flesh off or whatever at Royal Rumble. And I'm like, hope not, because you're not nearly as good as Bianca Belair. Get in the bin. Also, the whole Bray Wyatt stuff. She's like, oh, I don't need Bray Wyatt. I don't need anybody. So why are you interrupting her segment using Bray Wyatt's graphics then? Pick one. Pick a lane. Stupid. It's not her fault. It was his booking. But for me, this was probably the weakest part of the show. Which is a shame because it involves some of the best women in this company. But I just thought this is all fucking stupid and pointless. And just doesn't have a place. I would have rather Ric Flair introduced Charlotte Flair out, then Bianca Belair came out, they sort of kiss and make up a little bit, and then they have kind of like a little moment where they kind of just mutually admire each other and say, do you know what, let's think about all the incredible women. Maybe if this would have been the time to bring out the Bellas or whoever, and just, you know, all the old women's veterans could have come down and paid homage to these two women who have really changed the game of what it means to be a women's wrestler. And instead it was this stuff, and I was like, don't care. Next, please. The Miz is in the ring chatting shit, and he gets stunned by Kevin Owens, who jumps in and then cuts a promo about how he's going to kick Roman Reigns' ass. Thanks for coming. And in your main event for the United States Championship, Bobby Lashley challenges Austin Theory in what was ultimately a really, really boring, pointless match with very little going on. Only lasted about 8 to 10 minutes, including the ad breaks, from what I could tell. Not much happened, a couple of chair spots. But yeah, it was basically all a massive ruse. No disqualification, you say. I wonder if that might lead to some shenanigans. As soon as they do that, you know that the champion's going to retain in some dodgy way. And we all knew he was coming out, didn't we? Brock Lesnar returns, beats up Bobby Lashley. That's fine. I'm pretty sure I said it last week on the Raw review, actually. Oh yeah, Lesnar's probably going to come back next week, beat him up, and then face him at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. Got no problem with that. It's going to be amazing. But for me, it felt slightly flat when Lesnar came out. It wasn't a massive deal. Maybe it was just so bleedingly obvious he was going to come back. Nothing wrong with it. It's going to be great. And the long-term storytelling and obviously TV over the next few weeks will be great. Fingers crossed we get more Lesnar on TV, because I know he works on a very small kind of percentage of appearances, unlike other talents. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get Lesnar versus Lashley again, and I'm all for that. Ideally inside Hell in a Cell or something. You just got fucking bananas with it. Just let them fucking murder each other. Hi, big meaty slapping men slapping meat against bigger meatier men. Whoa. Got a massive meaty hot erection right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this very impromptu Raw 30th anniversary review. Can't believe Raw's been going 30 years. Can't believe I'm older than Raw. That's quite depressing. But yeah, fantastic stuff. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let us know if you want different content, what you'd like us to do. Thank you so much for the comments, especially to my boy Lee. Thank you. Big shout out to the big dog from up north. Appreciate your love, man. Lovely to hear you interacting and enjoying with the content. And for anyone who wants to get their point across, maybe you've got questions, maybe you want to ask me stuff, don't hesitate to send it to wrestleplug@gmail.com or by hitting @wrestleplug across all social media brands. We'd love to hear what you're thinking, what you'd like to see the podcast doing next. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. If you want, doesn't matter if you don't, as long as you've had a bit of fun for a few minutes, that's all that matters. I've been XXX, and I'll catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug. Hoo-yah!